What's up everyone, this Lion Sonic fan here, and today I'm talking about Soul Eater. Soul Eater is an anime series based on the manga of the same name that aired on April 7th, 2008. While I've definitely heard the show beforehand, I never got into it until a few months ago. I initially was turned off by the first episode due to it slamming its absurd, fast-paced nature in your face, but I came back to it to give it another chance. And I wouldn't be here talking about it if I didn't have a strong opinion on it. Is that opinion positive or negative? Well, after I continued the show, I actually really got into it, and it's definitely in my top 5s. Which isn't a huge achievement since I don't watch too much anime, but that point is I enjoyed it. Man, what is it with great anime having a wacky first episode? Now, the reason I decided that I wanted to talk about Soul Eater wasn't because I have a strong emotional attachment to it, and it's not because I think it's underrated, because trust me, every anime fan has to have heard the show at some point. No, I'm talking about this show because I'm just so fascinated by it. I don't know why. I mean, I can think of a couple of reasons, but none of them will explain why I still think about it so often. Here, let me just start talking about the actual show. Before I get into anything story-wise, can I just mention that I absolutely love the style of this anime? I don't know how to explain it, but the boldly shaded characters and designs and great use of color really give the show a great sense of identity and helps it stand out. And it's not just the look of the show itself, the settings also contribute to its beauty. Just look at the design of the Academy or Lord Dev's office. Or the fact that both the sun and the moon are alive. The settings of this world do what every fantasy world should do. It makes me want to learn more about it. And I'm just scratching the surface. There are plenty of things in the show that would make you question what you're looking at in a good way. While it may be jarring initially, it doesn't change the fact this show is really interesting to look at. Why a spin-off would go out of its way to destroy the oneness of its predecessor style is beyond me. Now the actual story. In this world, there are 3 groups of people that exist. Boring people, that would be us. Weapons, who are people that, as the name implies, can change into weapons at will. And Meisters, the warriors who wield these weapons so they can enforce order and destroy Kishins, people whose souls have been corrupted beyond repair by continuous wrongdoing. On this adventure, we follow 5 main characters in their mishaps at Death Weapon Meister Academy, or the DWMA for short, an academy that trains young weapons and meisters on how to use their abilities. A school so wacky it gives Hogwarts a run for its money. Now, I won't get into the specifics of this plot, but I will say the show does a pretty good job in terms of pacing. There were no times where I didn't feel like getting to the next episode. However, that statement serves as a testament to how good the pacing is, not the actual episodes themselves. Don't get me wrong, the show for the most part has some pretty good episodes, but it does suffer from some really unnecessary filler episodes. Now, I defended the original Fullmetal Alchemist for its filler episodes since they were used to mainly get your attachment caught up to the characters in World before major events started happening. The main reason why I personally prefer it more than its Brotherhood counterpart. However, the filler episodes inside of Soul Eater do nothing to better the story or the characters within it. There was an entire episode focused on an intentionally annoying character that literally did nothing but waste 20 minutes of your time that you would never get back. While I'm on the negatives, I should also warn those of you planning to get into Soul Eater that while the ending is pretty conclusive, the show literally just ends out of nowhere. I was pretty shocked since I thought there were plenty of open plotlines and character relationships that could have been touched on more. But then I figured out that the writers chose the easy way out since they ran out of manga to adapt just like the other certain anime. Part of my excessive references to Full Metal, but whenever that show ran out of manga, the writers didn't just give up. They worked with what they had and decided to create their own second half of the show that still respectfully followed the material the original manga was setting up, and that anime turned out great. Sure, it may have gotten a little weird, but at least it was memorable and risky, and in my opinion, a pretty epic way to close out the series. Yeah, no, we don't get that with the show, it just ends. However, I don't watch the show for the plot, and I'm pretty sure others don't either. The main thing that sells this anime for me is its fun cast of characters. We switch around from character to character a lot, but there's 3 sets of Meister and weapon pairs. There's Maka and Soul, Black Star and Tsubaki, and Death the Kid and his 2 trained weapons, Elizabeth and Patty, who serve as sisters. Maka and Soul are the main focus of the show, and I like these 2. Maka is the perfect student who is a competent fighter and ally and has a big temper and is a little too full of herself. Soul is the exact opposite. He's very laid back and more of a go-with-the-flow guy that doesn't mix well with Maka's strict attitude. Now, these guys' dynamic doesn't sound like anything special because it's not. But luckily, the writers knew what they were doing, and these two's bickering never gets to the point where it's generic or pointless. It actually feels like a genuine relationship. Somewhat like Jesse Pinkman and Walter White in Breaking Bad, except without all of the math, guns, and realistic emotional breakdowns. Back to the lighthearted fun anime. Next is Black Star and Tsubaki. Black Star is an over-energetic douche who strives as hard as he can to, in his words, surpass God, and his partner Tsubaki is a polite girl who supports Black Star's shenanigans despite knowing better due to their bond being that strong. Now, it makes sense if you love or hate Black Star. On one hand, he's a pretty funny character, whereas on the other hand, he's a complete prick to everyone around him. I personally like him, since he got a good bit of laughs out of me, and he did undergo some growth throughout the series. As for Tsubaki, she's probably the most boring out of the main five. She doesn't really do or say anything interesting most of the time, and only serves as the character to pull Black Star back when she starts crossing the line. Next is Death the Kid, the son of Lord Death, who has a very, very, very bad obsession for perfect symmetry, which did get a good number of laughs out of me here and there. His two partners consist of Patty and Elizabeth, two sisters who form into two dual-wield pistols that matches Death the Kid's style. I don't really count these two as main characters since they don't do anything major and they don't undergo any development. However, with that said, these three are my favorite to see on screen since they work pretty well off of each other, and Death the Kid is one of my favorite characters because, I mean, look at him.
Let's go Soul Resonance! Execution mode ready, prepare to die. Death Cannon.
So yeah, and there's plenty of side characters as well, and my favorite character is Dr. Stein. However, I feel this video is going on too long for a fast thoughts video, so I won't go in depth with him. So yeah, my three favorites are Death the Kid since he's awesome, Maka since he's the second most interesting, beaten slightly by Dr. Stein. However, I will mention that the villains of the show kinda suck. Don't get me wrong, considering the show's wacky tone and style, I'm not expecting no Esdeath or Heath Ledger's Joker, but I'm being genuine when I say, these guys suck. In conclusion, Soul Eater is a pretty solid anime. The animation and style is top notch, the characters are fun, and the story is pretty interesting. However, the villains are lame, the characters aside from Maka and Dr. Stein aren't too interesting or layered, and there are a few really dumb episodes. But hey, the openings and outros are pretty sick, so that's a nice cherry on top. I'm giving Soul Eater a 4 out of 5. You know what, if this video gets 10 likes, I'll cover Soul Eater not. And yes, I'm aware I don't usually get 10 likes, and that's why I said it there. Peace out, everyone.